So this is Guilford Courthouse. So this is the American setup. British are not on the field. They come in here. And the interesting thing about this game, morale is only goes up to 15, whereas the others are higher. The board looks great. So the Americans are along this road with a couple lines of defense. The British need to exit out of those hexes out. Also, they can earn victory points by taking control of these hexes that are marked right there. But with the Americans are all along this road, and they can't move for a few turns. I can't remember, maybe up to turn 6, I think it is. And then, so the British have got a few turns to move, and I'm thinking to go along this road and then up to the, basically up and around. And Americans are going to have to spend time shifting over, whether the British can get up there before getting blocked again. We shall see. And since the last two games, the Americans tried to do a stand-up fight and just got pummeled, morale-wise. Thinking I might have to change the tactics for the Americans and figure out how to be more effective against the more powerful British units. But I think this scenario might be a little more equal. So we shall see. So this is the end of turn 1. Basically, the British moved up along the road here, and the Americans shifted, the ones that are able to move, over here to the south edge of the map. And it's kind of a quick short turn. So this is the end of turn 3. The British units moved up and attacked the screening cavalry, pushed them back. Tarleton is hanging out here, protecting the flank, and the Americans have moved the riflemen up here, cover the creek or branch. And so on to turn 4. So this is the end of turn 4. The British removed the cavalry unit on the southern edge of the map, brought forces to push these guys back or just kind of screen them, and everybody else is moving along the road. And you get the lone American units hanging out here. But this is going to be turn 5, and then turn 6 these guys can shift over. So British are not moving as quickly. Well, they'll probably be up here quickly enough, but they're going to have to fight their way through to get up here. It's still going to give the Americans enough time to shift forces over for the next, well, when they can do that on turn 6, it'll be 6 turns for the British to get through. And of turn 5, the British are trying to outflank the American position there. And then the British are just moving up. The Americans dropped guys down to cover that road juncture. just slow the British down, give the Americans more time. So that's the end of turn 6. The Americans got their units escaped here because the British rode poorly on an attack against them and had to retreat. And the British moved up, and the Americans are shifting over. So onward to turn 7. So this is the end of turn 7. So British try to outflank the Americans. They just ran away, just playing cat and mouse. But everybody is basically shifted over to block up here because the British are coming all the way up this road. Americans just put up the few rifle guys to slow the British down, but they've already taken some hits on their morale. So let's see how it goes on the turn 8, because the British have got to get up and off the map in basically 6 turns. This is the end of turn 8. Well, bits of inclusive fighting. British rolling poorly with high mods. So just everybody retreated, non-combat. Up here, just maneuvering around, but through rifle fire, both the British and the English knocked down their morale. So that puts the Americans down 1, and to the where their morale, unit morales are minused. So they're at disadvantaged again. So this is the end of turn 9. British were the last to move on turn 8 and first to move on turn 9. Was able to do some damage because they pinned these guys in here, and they eliminated the light infantry unit there. The Americans attacked, and the British wiped out all the riflemen covering this line, and we moved up a defensive position there. But the Americans' morale was really taking a hit. And also the British rolled quite well. They got 2 momentums out of that turn. So on to turn 10. It's the end of turn 10 here on the east half of the map. British are pushing up. Americans kind of falling back, covering that thing, the victory exit, and the British are screening over here, and but their Americans' morale is quite low. Hopefully we can stop the British here and do a few attacks and get their morale back up. But they already lost this objective right here in the center crossroads. So we shall see on turn. So this is the end of turn 13. The American army was demoralized on the last turn, so by the British. They killed a few units, demoralized a unit, but the Americans held off the British, but I mean, they still lost 2 victory control points. But again, the Americans lose by demoralization. So interesting little game here, because it's a bit of maneuver, and compared to more straight up fights and a lot of restrictions on the American player on the last 2 games. So, but an interesting little puzzle on this one, and so Americans lose.